Okay, here's our lesson, 2.5, solving compound inequalities. So for this first slide, we're just going to take a minute or two. I want you to think about the difference between what these two words mean, the word and the word or. So we're going to do some examples, and we're going to use these little characters that you see to try to answer if it's and, who am I talking about, and if it's or, who am I talking about? All right, so let me give you an example, and then you might be able to follow just a little bit better. Okay, so I want you to tell me who is wearing, let's see if it'll let me grab the right thing. All right, I want to do wearing blue and has, where am I? All right, and has a collar. So if I want to think about, I want you to think about who would I be talking about? They're wearing blue and they have a collar. Okay, so to me, I've got this first lady. All right, this guy looks like maybe he has a collar on. His pants are blue. She might have a collar on. It's kind of hard to tell with her jacket. All right, Joe Schmo right here is wearing blue but does not have a collar on, so I'm not talking about him. And then nobody else. All right, so those people are all wearing blue and they have a collar, if we're defining collar correctly. Okay, so now let's see how is it different? How is it different than if I say they're wearing blue or they have a collar? All right, so think about who we might circle then. All right, so the answer to me is this right here. All right, everybody except for poor Mr. Fred down here. All right, everybody else appears to be either wearing blue or they have a collar. So our first little lady has both, and that's okay. And this last girl down here, she's wearing, she is not wearing blue, but she does have a collar. All right, so think about what the difference is there. When you have or, we had more people step forward, more people that we're talking about. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so wearing blue and collar. All right, what if we do people that are wearing pants or they have gray hair? All right, I want you to think about who is that. Okay, so we've got wearing pants, wearing pants, wearing pants. All right, all these people are wearing pants. Some of them also have gray hair, but those people are all wearing pants. And then also gray hair, gray hair. All right, so in general, you may have noticed that when it says or, only one thing has to be true. Okay, so you need to pause the video and take that note. Now, or does not mean that only one has to be true. It's just that at least one has to be true. Like, for example, this guy right here, he's wearing pants and he has gray hair. That's okay. He's still meeting one of the qualifications. All right, so let's think about and, if we do and here, what that's going to look like. All right, for this example, we're going to talk about somebody that is wearing green and has curly hair. All right, so wearing green means I'm only talking about these two girls, right? None of those other people are wearing green. And so we want to see if either of them has curly hair, and neither of them has curly hair. The only girl with curly hair is down here, and she's not wearing green. So in this case, we would have, for math purposes, we would have no solution because there's no one in my set of people that is true. For and, you probably need to write down, so I would pause and take this note, and you should say both things must be true, both qualifications. All right, so far in your notes, you should have the definition of or and the definition of and. Those are the two big things you need moving forward. Okay, so we're going to do two examples. So we want to think about what does and or have anything to do with math. And if you look at this example right here, you should see two inequalities. which means I have two things that I need to solve. And with two inequalities, I have to decide, is it saying that both inequalities must be true, which would mean it's and, or does only one inequality have to be true, which would mean it's or? When things are written all together, so this right here, because it is written together in one statement, it's going to mean and. All right, so if it's written together in one statement, it's going to mean and. We can split that apart, so we can split it to say -5 less than or equal to 2x plus 3, and -5 less than or equal to 2x, oh, I'm sorry, we just wrote that one, and 2x plus 3 is less than 9. All right, so notice that middle part of the equation, or the inequality rather, is getting repeated. Okay, so now we've got two inequalities to solve. So pause and take a minute to solve those, just like we normally would. Make sure your variable's on the left, and let's check our answers here in just a second. Okay, so I've got two answers here. X is greater than or equal to -4, and, all right, X is less than or equal to 3. So a few things that we need to note for our lesson today. This right here, greater than, I think you're going to be able to shade greater than, but anything that is greater than or equal to or less than or equal to is going to be a closed circle. That should be a review from last year. So when I graph this, I'm going to find -4 on my number line, and I'll explain what this is for in a minute. All right, that's a closed circle, and greater than, all right, that's going to be this side of my number line on the increasing side. For my other equation, x is less than 3. If I do that one, I'm going to start at 3. Now this time, less than or greater than, so if it's a strict inequality, that's an open circle. It means we're not including that number. So I'm going to have an open circle, and I want to go less than. All right. Now because we said and means both, to me, I see three sections. I've got a section right here, this overlapping section in the middle, and this section on the end that only has the green. If I consider those three sections, and means both things have to be true. So in this first section right here, the only thing that's drawn there is the purple. Well, that's not both things, that's one thing, so that's false. In the middle section, I have purple and green. That's both things, so that section is true. On the far section, I've only got one thing listed, the green, and I need both for and, so this section is false. All right, so on your notes, and this may be getting a little messy, so try to keep it organized because we only got two examples. This right here is just your work or your thinking, and you do need to have it every time. The bottom section down here, and I'll mark it in red, this down here is your final answer. And you do have to make another number line just so you can show your final answer. So your final answer is only where you have both things. It's only this true section here. So all I'm going to do is copy down that true section. All right? So this right here is my final answer. This number line that's in red, that's what's going to be graded on your test. Okay, let's try an OR problem. All right, notice with OR, they go ahead and write and tell you that it's going to be OR. So this time I can go ahead and split my problem apart. Or it's already split apart, I'm sorry, so I can solve each of them. So that's x is less than or equal to 3, and or, all right, that's important, x is greater than 4. Remember, or means I need only one true. So let's graph both of those. So x is less than or equal to 3. I'll graph that one on the top. So that means I'm going to do a closed circle on 3 because it's less than or equal to. And less than means I'm going to shade to the left. All right, that's where the numbers are smaller. And then greater than 4, so that's going to be an open circle on 4. And this other section, greater than, going to go to the right. And now remember, I've got 3 sections. Okay, this whole section, this middle section, the one on the other side. So if I look just at the left section then, the whole left section is one thing true. Yes, the green is there, so that's true. In the middle, there's nothing shaded, so this middle section is false. And on the far right, the purple is there, so that's true. So when I go to mark my final answer on the final number line, I copy down all of the true sections. So I've got true, and then true. And that middle section should be left blank because it's false. There shouldn't be anything there. So this right here is your final answer.